Sorry, were we not loud enough?
Hi, my name is Latanya Smith, and I'm the director of the Office of Business Diversity with the Chicago Public Schools. So on behalf of our CEO, Dr. Janice Jackson, our Chief Procurement Officer, Jonathan Maples, thank you for having us today. We're excited about talking about how to become a vendor with CPS and just some of the exciting things that we're doing. First of all, Chicago Public Schools, it's a little infomercial. As you are aware, we are the third largest school district within the U.S. with over 300,000 students enrolled in more than 600 schools. So that's a very large population. And at CPS, we have many initiatives that are aimed at driving value, but our end game is always the same, and that is our students, our children. Everything we do is about improving the lives and the educational outcomes of our students. If you've visited our website, you've seen our CPS scorecard. So I'll just like to, toot our own horn a little bit to say that CPS is doing a wonderful job. Our numbers have drastically improved over the past few years. And in 2018, we had a graduation rate of over 78%, which is phenomenal. And it's phenomenal growth. So we're headed definitely in the right direction. Our freshmen are on track. Our reading and math scores have improved. And our scholarship dollars earned are over $1 billion. So our students are not only, going within the system and developing educationally, but they're also going on to higher education. And that's definitely what we want for their future. In the procurement office, which is where the Office of Business Diversity is housed, one of the things, everything that we do is built around our KIDS program, CPS KIDS. So, and our procurement KIDS stands for Keep Improving District Services. So it's not enough just for us to enter into contractual relationships, but we're very focused on continuous improvement. So after that contract is signed, we're always looking for our vendors to partner with us and find ways of increasing that value by keep improving district services. So we look at how are you participating in regards to our MWBE numbers. Do you have better ways of doing business? We want to hear some of those innovative ideas of how we can, incorporate those ideas into the way that we do business to drive out waste and increase value. We also look at win-win relationships based on volume-based initiatives. Also, increasing philanthropic support, because there's other ways that our vendors can give value to the district. It's not just through the goods and services that they're contracted to provide, but also thinking out the box, other ways that you can give of your expertise, of your resources to directly impact the lives of students. So we not only want business relationships, contractual relationships, we want people to join, earn with us and help to improve the lives of our students. Sorry?
What percentage of these kids go on to college?
As far as our students, our graduation rate is 78.2%.
How about going on to college, though?
Going on to college, I can get that information for you.
Is it fairly high, though?
Actually, it's fairly high.
Okay.
It's improved over the years. If you go to our website at www.cps.edu, these stats as well as other stats are housed there. And we invite you to dig deep and just hear about some of the wonderful things we're doing. Okay, with that, I will turn it over to Patty Hernandez, who will talk about direct procurement opportunities.
Good afternoon. I don't think I need a microphone. I have loud enough voice, I think. Do you have any questions? For the live stream. Sorry. Okay, sorry. My name is Patricia Hernandez. I'm with Department of Procurement. I am a category manager in procurement, and the areas that fall under my jurisdiction are ITS, finance, and talent, and the law department. But I'm going to talk to the next couple of slides about the procurement spend and how do you go about becoming a vendor with CPS. So this just gives you a general overview of what our annual spend looks like. If you take a look at this, the biggest share of the pie is our facilities and construction spend. We spend a lot of money on, maintaining our buildings, doing renovations, new schools. That all falls under the dark blue category here. And then we have ITS, huge for us, right? Infrastructure, Wi-Fi, everything. Now we're moving to wireless with kids having access to to laptops or even iPads at a very young age. So it's one of the mayor's new initiatives that we're working on this year. We also have our top spend is, obvious transportation, professional services, and then nutrition. We spend about $100 million a year in feeding our kids. There are two ways for you to become a CPS vendor. You can either respond to a solicitation that we publish via our procurement website, whether it's a bid, an RFP, or an RFQ. You submit a proposal, it goes through an evaluation process, you meet all the requirements, you will get a contract, you get a CPS number. The other way is you can become what we call sponsored by a principal or department head. So our principals have discretionary funds so they can hire vendors to do small jobs at school level. So it's not a district-wide contract, but if there's a unique need that they have that you can provide for them, they can submit a sponsorship request to us to onboard you as a vendor. The request does have to come from a CPS employee. The vendors cannot call us to say, I want a vendor sponsoring myself. And all this information is on our procurement website. So our website is cps.edu/procurement. It's pretty easy to navigate. I brought some business cards that I can leave at the front table for you guys to take. If you have any questions after today, feel free to give me a call. So we kind of, like I said, we have two ways of sourcing or getting folks in as a vendor. Procurement manages pretty much large district-wide contracts. So anything that is going to touch every school in the city that is managed by a unit at our central office location is what we would call central office procurement. We're looking for standardized goods or services. A good example of this is our desktop, Chromebooks, laptop contract. ITS has strict specifications of what kind of equipment will meet our specs that can serve the needs of our kids, right? So that's something what we call a strategic source vendor, that only those vendors that are contracted can provide those items. Nobody else outside the contract can provide those items to the schools. It also includes warranties, maintenance support, so a lot of it goes into it when determining those vendors. And again, these are usually as a result of an award through a public formal solicitation, whether it's a bid, a request for proposal, or a request for qualification. And the keys to understand when you're responding to this is, understanding what the needs are of the user group, responding to the scope that they're addressing, as always being competitive in your pricing. And then after the contract, we manage you to performance indicators. We usually have a scorecard or KPIs that both our stakeholders and the vendors agree to, that we would review with the vendor maybe on a quarterly basis, annual basis, to make sure that we're all on the same track. And then, of course, continuously improving services that we provide. The second form of procurement is what we call school-based procurement. This is, like I said, where the principals would sponsor a vendor. It's usually for smaller dollar contracts that the principals manage directly by themselves at the school level. Procurement doesn't really have any input or oversight into those contracts. The only thing with those is they have to adhere to our Illinois School Code, which currently it's for anything under $25,000. So if a service or commodity exceeds $25,000, it has to become a formal centralized procurement solicitation. The principals cannot, say, hire you to do some kind of PD services for $50,000. There's a different mini bid process for that type of work. And keys to success there, again, if you're providing services to the schools, or providing quality services, good pricing, and then customer service. So a lot of times, our schools need the support, and one of the things is sometimes the vendors fall out or lose contracts with CPS is because they're not providing that customer service. So if something happens and I'm calling you to come and fix it or help me out and you don't respond, well, next time I need somebody to help me, I'm not going to call you. Right? Does anybody have any questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
If we're providing a service, well, I know this is Dylan, you mentioned the computers, but if you wanted to provide a service to the staff, to the educators and the CPS staff, is it the same process?
Yes. So, like our talent office has centralized contracts for PD. We We have like evaluation software for like the teachers. There's all kinds of different arenas around the professional services. Principals, again, will have discretion to hire anybody, but under that $25,000 spend limit. So if they want to hire you to do a small PD program for their teachers, it's going to cost them $2,000, $5,000, they can do that. I think they do have some kind of parameters or criteria they have to meet to comply with the centralized district-wide initiatives, managed by our downtown, our central office.
And then, I'm sorry, part two. If you provide a service that no one else provides, how do you go about moving forward? Because there wouldn't be a bid situation.
So we have what's called it's part of a formal process, competitive process. It's called a sole source, single source charter that whoever wants to use your services will need to initiate that request, and it goes through like a sole source committee where they review the documentation, and the onus is on our user groups or our schools to prove that you are in fact the only person that can provide those services. There's nobody else out there that can do this. And if it gets approved, then you will get a contract. Yes?
Is it true that CPS employees are prohibited from applying for these bids?
Yes. I don't want to go to prison. And then say if an employee has a business, we have ethics codes, they have to disclose it.
Yep.
We can't respond to our own solicitation. Anything else?
Just to piggyback, not that that's my question, but I'm just curious, any ownership at all, or just a majority interest? I mean, like...
You have to disclose any ownership, and then the ethics advisor will tell you whether or not you're okay to proceed. Yeah, if it's material. Okay, with that, I'm going to turn it over to Ali Aritos Smackers with Office Business Diversity.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Patty. My name is Polly Haritos Macris, and I am with the Office of Business Diversity. Thank you for coming today. And I will discuss our goals and our commitments. As a major employer and purchaser of goods and services, CPS is committed to the goal of enhancing economic opportunities to minority-owned businesses and women-owned businesses throughout the Chicagoland area by promoting access to procurement opportunities. And by the way, all of our procurement opportunities are advertised on our website, cps.edu/procurement. Our goals for the district are 30% minority business enterprises and 7% women businesses, 30 and 7. And how do we achieve our commitments? By certifications. We do accept City of Chicago, Cook County, and state, the CMS certifications, which are all governmental. We do ask that if you have a pending one, so please go to one of these sister agencies to apply. Convergence, district-wide effort at CPS. So all of our user groups, whether it's IT or nutrition or the education affiliated departments, are all very aligned to our district goals of 30 and 7, which is a minimum. So we do encourage to go higher than that. So it's about alignment with all of our user groups that, engaging them from the very beginning to commit to the goals so that they can transfer that message within their solicitations and their contractors that will be utilized as well. And of course, it's all about collaboration, right? We're here today with the City of Chicago. Thank you. Our assist agencies, our sister agencies, very important to us. And of course, being CPS, the engagement of the community. And the churches, faith-based organizations, not-for-profit organizations, all together for the same mission to encourage minority and women suppliers to submit to our contracts. And of course, it's about compliance, right? We want to tell you how we're doing and about transparency in our reporting. We do have a web-based portal, which some of you might be familiar with, called B2G Now, software that we utilize in-house. And I will scrutiny of our goals, which means what? Every contract that comes across our department and Latanya's desk, like I said before, the minimum goals are 30% MDE and 7% WBE. So there's full scrutiny on all of our contracts for that achievement of those goals. More effective monitoring of compliance and monitoring enforcement, which means more effective monitoring and enforcement to drive that full compliance to adhere, reach our goals and commitments. It's about supplier development. Our focus is on developing suppliers and reducing those barriers of growth, working firsthand with our user groups, whether it's ITS or nutrition or facilities, to engage smaller businesses in those solicitations and try to ensure that there are not barriers written in and hidden within those solicitations to deter you from submitting. And of course, it's about enhanced outreach, enhanced community engagement to better involve our diverse suppliers. And Iteria is part of our team, and she's our business community engagement manager. OBD, just a few highlights about business diversity's day-to-day, onboarding highlights. Of course, we're advocates of diversity and inclusion. And how do we do that? By promoting access to all our procurement opportunities. And of course, we are a resource for identifying minority and women-owned companies. One of our great resources and tools is all the certifications, the governmental certifications that we do accept. We have part of our supplier submittal requirements are our forms, our business diversity forms, which some of you have already seen before. They're forms 100 through 106, where it talks about engaging with that prime supplier, if you are the prime supplier, and making sure that you are coming into signing on board your subcontractors properly. So there's forms that you would have to adhere to as a prime and as a subcontractor up front, so that we know who's coming to business on this solicitation together. Our compliance software is a tool that we use all day, every day, in-house to check our monitoring and compliance efforts. And of course, we have our own website. I mentioned procurement. Ours is cps.edu/businessdiversity. And here's that compliance software that you might be familiar with. B2G is an automated compliance audit process, web-based, of course, and basically it's a great tool between the prime and the subcontractors on that contract. It engages and forces communication between primes and subs. The sub can see when, in fact, the prime receives payment from us, from CPS, trickles down to the prime. The prime has to enter data for the subcontractor. The subcontractor will be alerted. The subcontractor has the power to accept or, deny that payment for that particular audit or month. And that's when the communication starts. Say, yes, I didn't get $2,000. No, I really didn't get $2,000. I got, $500. So that's where that communication starts, and we, on the other side, are monitoring these efforts and making sure that these contracts fall into compliance, and that everyone's adhering to their contractual obligations and to our district-wide efforts and goals. And here is a little bit of a breakdown of who is involved in our department. As I mentioned, I'm Polly Jarritos-Macris. Patty Hernandez is here from procurement. Latanya Signor-Smith is our director for business diversity. And of course, Iteria Towns is our business diversity engagement manager. And here's a list that we can leave with you. Are there any questions? Yes, sir.
Edwin, how is the payment history for Chicago Public Schools? Is it down to reasonable invoice payments?
We have once you submit your approved requisition,
So once
or
the invoice is approved, not when you submit it. So a lot of people
Right.
think it's once you submit it, but once it's actually approved by AP,
Then 30 days.
payable, then
30 days.
Nice.
Correct. So sometimes there's missing information, incorrect information, so a lot of times there's a lag there. But once everything is Patty and Polly stated, once it's approved, then the process is very quick.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And then if you notice that you are sitting in a queue or that payment is not funneling through, you're not seeing that communication, we do encourage that you either reach out to procurement, even business diversity, or our finance department to say, you know what, yes, it's sitting in a queue because we need this, this, and that.
The only thing that I would add, hello, the only thing that I would add is please, if you're interested in doing business and becoming a vendor with CPS, please visit our website. We have our sourcing plans out there that gives you advance notice of what the upcoming sourcing opportunities are. So, and Thai also has copies. As Polly stated, she showed on there our contact information. We will provide that. Please reach out to us if you have any questions. So with that, on behalf of Polly, Patty, Thai, and myself, thank you for having us today.
Okay, well, good afternoon once again. Good afternoon. My name is Sheila Johnson, CPS. I'm bridging from CPS. I'm Sheila Johnson, the District Director of Business and Procurement Services for City Colleges of Chicago. That is our sister partner. Students from CPS do transfer over to and attend City Colleges of Chicago. So we are always excited to partner together in collaboration. Today, we're just going to give you a quick overview of City Colleges of Chicago, an overview of how our procurement authority is broken down, talk a little bit about supplier registration for those of you who may not already be current vendors with us, talk about some commonly purchased items that we do at City Colleges, and then review some our MWBE requirements. So I am just as proud as Chicago Public Schools about City Colleges being the largest community college district here in the state of Illinois. We are the second largest community college district in the nation. So we are always excited about that, and we toot our own horn on that as well. On behalf of our Chancellor, Juan Segato, my Vice Chancellor, Diane Miner, we're very excited to present here today and let you know that we help over 80,000 students prepare educationally for their careers, to pursue into the workforce or to pursue higher education, or even just to get back into training. We have 7 main campuses that are listed below. Richard J. Daley College, which has a satellite organization of Arturo Velasquez Institute, Harold Washington College, Kennedy King College, who has 2 satellite locations, Dawson Technical Institute and Washburn Culinary Institute, Malcolm X College, which has a satellite center of Westside Learning Center, Alipari College, who has a satellite of South Chicago Learning Center, and then Truman and Wright College. We have, under the leadership of, our chancellors, have designed our schools to be more of a college to career type of organization. So that means that we're training people in industry markets. So when you look at Richard J. Daley, which just opened up a new manufacturing, technology, and engineering facility, which we're really excited about, they will be focusing in on advanced manufacturing and robotics. And then for Harold Washington College, we focus in on business, professional services, and entrepreneurship. You can also find the 10,000 Small Business Institute located at Harold Washington College. So for those of you who are trying to grow your business, get insight into financing, and just learn how to really move forward and grow, you can check out the 10,000 Small Business Institute at Harold Washington College. At Kennedy King College, we're always excited about our culinary and hospitality program. Dawson Tech, which is one of their satellite schools, we boast on our construction technology program there. We have the overhead electrical lineman's workman's program there, as well as at Dawson Technical Institute, And then at Malcolm X College, we built this in 2016. That is our healthcare facility. So if you're looking for mortuary science, phlebotomy, we have an advanced nursing degree. That is the institution that you would attend there. Olive Harvey College, we just did our ribbon cutting, which we're excited about. If you look at our webpage, we just did the ribbon cutting for the new Transportation, Distribution, and Logistics Center for Olive Harvey College. And so we're really excited about that. Some great opportunities there in the market and in the industry. And then at Truman College, we focus in on education, human services, and natural sciences. And Wright College, surely last but not least, is where we focus in on our information technology. So that is our schools in a nutshell. And we do have 5 child care centers that we operate within the institution. And if you are on the south side, you can catch WKKC, which is our FM radio station. And we do have student participation there, so we always ask if you can catch it. The frequency is really small. We're working on that, but check us out. I'll talk a little bit about our district spending. It is not as voluminous as CPS. We're real simplistic at City Colleges of Chicago. Our rules are governed by the Illinois Public Community College Act. So that's the state statute that we follow in accordance with what our board would approve as well. So our rules are very, very short and clear. Purchases under $2,500, competitive bidding is not required. So you can reach out to a school, they will contact you and do a purchase order with you at that local campus. Purchases between $2,500 up to $25,000 require 3 written quotations. 1 must be from a certified minority or women-owned business. And those are reviewed by my office. My associate director, Deborah King, she's the actual person who reviews those and approves those for the colleges. So they will not be able to do a purchase order with you until it has been approved and blessed by our Office of Procurement Services in that dollar threshold of $2,500 up to $25,000. And then anything in excess of $25,000 is put out for formal bid. So we don't have the luxury of $100,000 and all of this as other agencies. Most of the community colleges, based on the state law that I told you about in the Illinois Public Community College Act, our threshold is $25,000. So everything over $25,000 goes to our Board of Trustees for approval, and it is put out to bid. Okay, any questions? Okay. All right. Then I'll talk a little bit about supplier registration for us. It takes a minimum of about 10 days based on the forms that you see listed in this particular presentation. All new vendors need to fill out our vendor application, which is on our website. You must give us your IRS W-9 form. You must read and sign our conditions of purchase, which is the purchase order terms and conditions. And then you must read and acknowledge and sign as well the acknowledgement of our district's ethics orientation for contracts and vendors. This form sometimes is a little bit scary to vendors because they're thinking we're asking you to fill out and go through our ethics training. We are not. We just want you to understand what our ethics rules are. For us in procurement services, I'm under the umbrella of administrative and procurement services. There was an ordinance that was passed by the mayor to say that we cannot accept any type of gift from any vendor. That means that if you're an office supply vendor and you want to come in and show us the new and latest pen, I cannot accept it, me or the team of administrative and procurement services. There are other thresholds and things that you have to understand as far as ethics is concerned. The question of if you are an employee and you have a business, you have to disclose those things. Things have to be approved by the board. The ethics office has to be aware of those things. That's in the policy that we ask you to read and acknowledge. So it's not asking you to attend training or any of those things, but just read and acknowledge that you understand what our ethics policy is. And then all of the institutions, we work on what we call commodity codes. It'll allow us to be able to track what our spending is based on commodities, whether it's a professional service, whether it's a work service, or a true commodity. So we all use the National Institute of Governmental Purchasing, which is NIGP, their commodity codes. So you must select the commodity code that applies to you. If you wanted to buy or supply computers to us, 204-16 is a keyboard. 204-00 is actually the actual commodity code at the roll-up level for computers. So we have the list, and you can actually select the commodity code and provide that to us. We have the same policy of following the Prompt Payment Act. For us, it is a net 60 day. You would definitely have to get the approval of procurement services as well as our CFO to do net 30. Our standard term is net 60. It has been net 60 for the last 4 years. We also have payment terms of net 45, net 15 as well. And net 45 is where you do all of your ACHs. And if you want to be set up for ACH, there's an actual form that you have to complete. This form is a necessity because we try to make sure, based on HIPAA rules and privacy rules, that we have information on you that only you can give us. If you need to update your information, you must submit this form to us because there are only items that you would be able to answer and address to make sure that people are not fraudulently trying to get access to your account. So we take all of that very serious. And then if you're an existing vendor and you need to update some information to us, you would just send us notice of what you need to update. We ask you a few questions in procurement services. We've been asking for a copy of a couple of things to verify your identity. And then we'll go ahead and make those changes. That's currently. The next slide is going to talk about what we're getting ready to do with supplier registration. All of our forms are located at www.ccc.edu/services/pages, become a vendor. So all of the forms are listed there. You can actually fill out the form online and then submit it to procurement services. It'll come to us electronically, or you can send it to us at www.procurementservices@ccc.edu. Okay? I know that was a mouthful, but it's on the page. So a great initiative that we're talking about, and I know we talked about this last year. Yes, ma'am.
So would you recommend that we register with the college before becoming a contractor so that we have that done, or do we wait until after?
We always encourage you to register to do business with us. We don't turn anybody away. It's helpful if you've already registered with us and then you're trying to work on with a college. You already have a vendor number, so it's easy for you to maneuver through the system. Because the only way to do payments is to have a vendor number for us. And the only way to get a vendor number is to do the registration that we talked about. Okay. What service do you provide? I'm interested to know.
I've created the first ever national life insurance registry company. So you can register your life insurance with us, and at the time of need or death, family members only have one phone number to call.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Oh, well,
Thank you.
I have to give you a clap for that.
Right. People don't understand. $500 million in life insurance benefits went unclaimed in 2016 alone.
Wow.
Wow.
And that's not money that gets turned over to the state. It stays with the life insurance company.
Right.
Oh, wow.
And so we want to be able to provide people with that service.
What a wonderful niche. Wow. I would have never thought about that.
It was created because of my clients. I take care of the police department, and they keep calling. They kept saying, Shelby, where do I find, my mom died, my sister died, and there's never been a registry. So I created one.
So what's the fee then to use it?
It's dirt cheap. It's $45 for the first year to register, and then $3.95 per year thereafter.
Oh, wow.
So
Dirt cheap.
it is because this was the goal in setting it up. It's designed to make sure that what you've already paid for gets to the people that you've earmarked it for.
Right.
This is a game changer for people's lives. This is people being able to go to college because somebody has died. Now they have the money to go. People can stay in their homes. I mean, this was really created to be a blessing to the community and to the nation. So I'm really proud. This has been a tear-jerking experience for me, but I'm very proud of what we're doing. And I am the president and CEO of the company.
So then would people pay then when they need to access information?
So what'll happen? No, what happens is you register your stuff, and what's nice is we're non-intrusive. And I apologize, I'm not trying to cut you. We're non-intrusive. We don't need your social security number. We don't need the policy number, just the name of the company. And so you register the information. Anything you want to save with us, you can store it there. And at the time of need, and I say need because a lot of times people don't realize that their life insurance has living benefits on it. So if you have cancer, heart attack, stroke, what have you, I can actually show you how to accelerate your life insurance while you're alive to keep you alive. So it's a little bit more to it than just you die and now all of a sudden we give the information to your loved ones. But if you pass on, then we will give your information that to your loved one. Okay, she had MedLife, New York Life, Prudential, and we'll help them with the claims process so that they can get all the money that you've left for them.
So then we should make sure after this, we should make sure they connect with her. Shelby,
Yes, ma'am.
Shelby, we'll make sure we connect with you. I only have a few more slides, and this meeting is all about vendors and how we do business and being able to network. We're not just up here to just tell you about our rules and regulations and all of that. Yes, we must do that, but we're also, just as CPS, looking for partnerships. Yes, ma'am.
I just had a quick question.
Yes,
where
ma'am.
you talked about the NIGP codes.
Yes.
Are those commodity codes similar to like NICS with
Yes.
the city getting ICS?
Yes.
Okay, that was it.
Yes, they're simple.
It's simple.
Okay. So this slide is talking about an initiative we started probably a year and a half ago, but resources as they are. We are in the testing phases, and we're just about to launch, just like all of our other sister agencies, finally, at City Colleges of Chicago, an online vendor registration. So that means that you would self-register yourself. You would fill in all of your information. Instead of filling out that form that I talked about on the previous slide, you would go to the supplier portal, input all of your information, upload all of your certifications. If you're a certified MWBE, you will also attach your doing business with the state of Illinois so that we know that you're in good standing with the state of Illinois. And if you've done all of that and put in your commodity codes, once you press save, it gives you a temporary vendor number that is electronically sent to procurement services. We verify all of the information that you've given to us. Once we hit approve, you actually get a new vendor number assigned with City Colleges of Chicago. It would allow us to go away from actual emailing or scanning or faxing of purchase orders. You'll now be able to go right into your specific unique ID for your firm and pull down every purchase order that's waiting for you in your queue. You'll be able to send PO acknowledgments to us. You'll be able to do any type of return information with us. And then you'll also be able to update your own information if you need to make changes. The only thing that we're making sure that you will not be able to do is make a change to your ACH. If you need to change your banking information, you're going to have to stop back at procurement services so we can verify that it is you based on some key information that we have put in the system that only you will be able to tell us, and then we'll update those changes. So we're looking forward to this coming out in fall of 2019. We're in the final testing stages right now, and for suppliers who are already with us, you'll be sent a temporary password, and then we'll ask you to go in and create your final and new password, and it'll give you what the vendor number is. So we're really excited about that. We're coming up to speed and catching up with all of our other sister agencies as far as technology is concerned. And we really think that that'll be a great mechanism for our vendors as well, because it takes away the burden of you waiting on a purchase order. You go right to your queue and your purchase orders are there. You know what's waiting for you. You're able to send those acknowledgments. The other thing that is a real great thing for us is that it'll allow us to do the electronic quoting process for those items between $2,500 up to $25,000. We'll be able to go to the commodity code and get all the vendors that are in that commodity code and say, hey, we have an item that we need a quote on, if it's not already board approved, and be able to do the quoting in the system electronically. So we're looking at that, and we're really excited about it coming along. And then just a couple more slides, and then I'm really done. I just want to talk about some things that we buy at City Colleges of Chicago. Being an educational institute, our needs are kind of different. So we do buy regular building and maintenance items. We buy janitorial supplies. Of course, we have to have our garbage removed and our scavenger services, but we buy a lot of medical and nursing supplies. We do bus transportation because we have athletic teams that travel. We have child development centers that go on trips. We have a TRIO program, and our TRIO programs are built to help those students who are less fortunate, who may not be able to go to different venues and locations, and we offer those services to them. We buy uniforms, whether it's for our janitorial staff, whether it's for our students in the culinary program or in the cosmetology program. We buy those uniforms. Office supplies is a given. We do textbooks, whether it's educational through our bookstores, or there are some specialty textbooks that we need to procure for our adult education programs and things of that nature. We have cafeteria and vending services that we have for our students, faculty, and staff. We do newspaper advertising. Of course, we need to buy furniture, computers, printers, and scientific items. We ask that you go to our contracts page to look at all of our contracts that are out there. We also have a bid schedule page. If you go to www.ccc.edu/procurement, it will take you right to the procurement services page, and you can see all of the contracts, our bid schedule of everything that we have out to bid, just some tips on procurement services, and then contact information for the colleges that we have. The last slide for me before questions is talking about our minority and women-owned business participation goals. Every sister agency has them. The dollar values and the values are different for every agency. We're at 25 and 7. That's our minimum. Our Chancellor Juan Salgado, has said that's the minimum that we can derive for our institution, but he expects that based on our population, our goal should be much higher than that. So he's raised the bar that that's a minimum level of expectation. He expects our goals to be higher than that. So when you're doing business with us, we're looking for 25 and 7, but if you can do better than that, we're always excited to do that. We're talking about doing some revamping of our minority and women-owned business plan to see where we can do sometimes some contract-specific goals to maybe get a higher percentage of participation from our minority and women-owned businesses. Just like CPS, we're looking for partners. It's not about just having a vendor, but it's about a partnership. Because in a partnership, it's a win-win situation. And you both are able to grow, you both are able to collaborate, and you both are able to share best practices one with the other. And so that's what we look for at City Colleges of Chicago. Just as our sister partner in CPS, we're not a certifying agency, but we accept certifications from the City of Chicago, the State of Illinois, which is CMS, Cook County, the Women Business Development Center, and the Chicago Minority Supplier Development Council. Okay? And on a case-by-case basis, we do review national certification through WeBank as well as the Chicago Minority Development Council based on the service or commodity. We buy a lot of academic software that is utilized to help with our trends and statistics, even some of our educational goals. So we do accept, national certification on a case-by-case basis. Okay. Are there any questions? And of course, we give you personnel. My vice chancellor, who is Diane Miner, myself, the district director. Deborah King is the associate director. She's here. Steve Nash is our contract administrator. And then we always add the director of risk management, who we work with, because one of the goals of procurement is always to manage risk. So we manage, what's in the best interest of City Colleges of Chicago. So sometimes I'm that one that just has to say no, because it just can't happen, because it's not in the rules. Even though you have a wonderful project or a wonderful product, I have to go out to bid. Sometimes everything is not single source and sole source. We do have a non-compete review committee, that's what we call it, that reviews all of our sole source items. I no longer chair that. Deborah King chairs that. I'm turning over the reins. Steve Nash, the contract administrator, is the buyer that handles all of our sole and single source. So, we look forward. And I forgot to mention Marietta Williams-Johnson. She is the buyer there. Okay? Any questions about City Colleges and what we do? contact us. We're always willing to meet with vendors to talk about services. Check out our contracts page. Check out our bid schedule to see what we have coming to bid. We'll be posting our master buying plan for the closeout of this fiscal year, and we'll look forward to doing business with you at City Colleges of Chicago. Thank you so much.
And then just lastly, the GPS is on social media. You can follow us. We post our solicitations on social media. And if I see some of the other ones, I'll also post those as well. We also have a buying plan, which has 12 additional government agencies in that as well. So not only can you go to the respective sister agency sites, but you can also go to our buying plan. It has a comprehensive list of those. Thank you for attending.
So, do you all have cards?
Yes.
The one time when I'm willing to pass out cards.